A very wise healer once told me, in regards to healing the body, mind, spirit complex, that some people heal through life and others heal through death. We operate under the belief that the body, in and of itself, is neutral. And so any sickness or illness is a representation of a soul level misalignment in the mind, body, spirit complex for that being to live out their highest and best timeline for the purpose of the experience of their soul's journey. So with that in mind, the question is, when someone like my dad is diagnosed with a stage 4 cancer or other illness and dies, what does that mean? Did he choose not to face the aspects of himself that were needed for healing in order to correct the physical representation of illness in his body? Or was his passing in the highest good? Hey everyone, this is Brittany from Surfing Waves of Light, and today we're going to be exploring some questions around death. There has been a lot in the air around this topic, and so I've been guided this evening to channel for you all on it. So really the question is around if you believe that healing comes down to aligning your mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical selves, and that the physical body will manifest an illness when there is a misalignment in order to be a loving signal for you to understand that something's wrong. If that is the case, if that is a potential truth of this existence, then when someone dies, is it their conscious choice to go? They didn't want to deal with the things they needed to heal, or they chose not to, or they weren't able to? Or do we trust that their passing is in the highest good, that that was what was meant for this lifetime? That is what is needed. So that is the question that has come up in some conversations I've been having and within my own mind. And so I am going to channel for you all now. Thanks so much for being here. Greetings, dear beings. We are the Arcturian Council, and we are pleased to make your acquaintance this evening. We are coming through this being, through many beings at this time, with the primary purpose of delivering to each and every one of you who feels inspired to tune your vibration to our messages, a deeper knowledge and understanding of the game that you are playing here on planet Earth, of the level specific instructions that will guide you to a new level of understanding, which is how you move levels in this realm. You see, just like in a video game where the end goal is to find a treasure chest or jump into a flag or a hole or whatever the route to moving into the next level is, as represented in a game, in this larger game you're playing on Earth, the soul's evolution, the ascension journey, the journey into higher consciousness, the way to move up a level, so to speak, is through a new and deeper understanding of a misperception, of a distortion in the mind that is guiding you toward believing in a reality that is not of heaven, that is not of the highest love and light. And that is your choice. That is the only choice you have on this planet, is how you want to percept your life. And so we come with the highest and most valuable promise of delivering a new understanding of providing you with a different way to consider things so that your mind can be more at peace, so that you may do the work you actually came here to do, become the creator that you came here to be, in order to heal your final wounds and traumas and move past the experience of the third dimension. That is the natural course here. The natural course is to deepen yourself in an artistic endeavor, one that allows you to choose how you spend your time, that allows you to create from a vibration of healing, of self-forgiveness, of love. All art on your planet, a lot of art on your planet comes from deep woundings and or healings from deep woundings. And so this is a process that is natural for creators, that as long as a being is creating, they are healing. It is impossible to create and be increasing the damage to yourself unless it comes to thinking poor thoughts in the mind. In that way, your creations do distract you. In fact, we want you to symbolize, to picturize in your head a straight and narrow road. And this road runs completely straight. There are no turns, there are no detours, nothing. And imagine that that is the road to ascension. The road to ascension is a straight and narrow road. And that is what it is, dear beings. It is only the thoughts you have that are off track, that are not loving, that creates, like a tree, different branches and different timelines. And we have told this being many times in the past that anger accordions out timelines. So anytime you are not at peace, anger creates all these detours, all these long ways around, we will say, whereas calmness collapses those timelines and keeps you on the straight and narrow. You see, this journey here on earth, it is not meant to be easy always. It is easy, but the hard part about it is that seemingly difficult things are going to occur in your life. And if you can find a way to remain relatively calm or find your way back to calmness, you actually save yourself time on the quantum level instead of going all the way out and coming all the way back and therefore experiencing extra time that isn't necessary. Maybe you only go out a little bit. You're angry or you're upset or you're not at peace for a little bit and you come back sooner. And the closer that you can remain on the peaceful road, the quote unquote faster you can ascend. You see, from the peace, you will make the decisions that affect quantum time. It is from the busyness, it is from the upset, it is from the disheveled confusion and overriding your guidance constantly type decisions. That is what continues to create all these long journeys. It's like you can just go right through the mountain, but you choose to climb up it and go around it and over 6 other mountains, as opposed to just taking the straight and narrow. And in our perspective, from what we can see on how the earth game plays out in our experiences, peace will always facilitate making the decisions that affect the energetic time, the time outside of time and space, the moments that actually move you closer. For moving closer to ascension is not linear. It is non-linear, but maybe you could look at it as going up, right? Time goes in this direction, but moving out of this level of consciousness, it is an uplift, is an upgrade. And so when you make decisions from peace, you are more likely to upgrade. And that changes the entire experience you have because you changed your mind about it. You allowed the upgrade to occur. And so that being said, we want to point out to you that the reality of this planet is that you are here and you alone are here, and all around you is split aspects of yourself that you decided you would like to separate from in order to play out these different roles, to be an actor, to be an actress, to be a video game character where you really feel you are in the body, where it feels so real, because the creative abilities of those who are in the likeness of the universe or God, which you all are, can create the most real, the most fascinating, the most real feeling worlds. That is what you do. You create worlds, literally. And so you created this world and then you came in and you forgot. But the reality of this world is that everything around you is an aspect of you. It is a representation of your consciousness, of the journey and the path you played out. And so when it comes to the question about if a person didn't do the healing work or if they were meant to pass, we will say when someone dies, that is merely representing for you an aspect of usually your subconscious or unconscious having done a certain amount of work, that it is ready to release a belief about itself that that being represents in your consciousness. So when someone passes away, you can look at them and all that they represented for you, and you can begin to understand where your path is taking you. And you can trust that someone passing away, it is perfect. It is not a matter of whether or not they did the work, of whether or not they're meant to be here. You can know that your guides from the highest dimension who guide you, as well as your natal family, as well as your community, there are many different guides. They are always looking at what will benefit not only you, but the entire thought system, all the other beings that are around you. And so if someone passes away, especially someone who is deeply involved in a community or had a lot of relationships with beings, that shows that an entire consciousness was ready to move to the next level. And a lot of times it is the absence of energy, it is the absence of stimulation that actually allows growth on this planet. And so in a way, the death of beings serves us because we see you all as Energizer bunnies. You create a lot of upheaval and mishaps within your life, and that is the accordioned out timelines. But if you would just relax, if you would just stop, if you would just allow, we could align life for you. The problem really is when you believe you can align your life, you think you know what's best, and you try to control everything. And that control actually accordions out a longer timeline, creates an entire situation, and we cannot stop that because you are free will beings on this planet. Everyone is a free will being on this planet. And we promise you that when you are meant to do something, we have the capacities, we have the unlimited resources to ensure that happens. And we can ensure that happens because that free will directive came down from you when you were still a part of the oneness. And so you have free will on this planet. Of course, you can choose how you perceive things. You can choose how you go about your day. But when it comes to the major life events, we supersede the conscious with the superconscious, with the part of you that still knows, the part of you that's still connected, that is your guidance that comes through. So you are still experiencing free will when a family member passes or when something bad or good happens to you, but you can know that you planned that in order to help activate parts of yourself that were meant to be activated, or aspects of yourself that were unloving, that were ready to be released. And so when you look at another person, again, we do not judge the journey of others. And the reason we do not judge it is because it is an aspect of ourself. And if we judge that other person, we are judging ourselves. And so we can trust that whatever is happening is meant to be, and that because this world is not as real as we think it is, that there are ways we can look at the world that can bring us more peace. We can be complete and whole in knowing that, okay, even though losing a family member or having something bad happen to me does not seem easy, it seems hard, it doesn't seem like I would choose that, you can take a moment to look at what the silver linings are. And a lot of times silver linings are not recognized by beings right away because often the consciousness of a problem cannot see the solution that quote unquote problem actually presents. Any problem in your life is actually a solution. It is showing you something, but it is the disturbed mind that cannot see it. And so it does not matter the subject, the form, or the content of a situation. Your job is to find your way back to peace, and it is from a peaceful, grounded, relaxed state, one that this being gets into when she meditates, or many of her clients get into when she does the healing touch and the energy work. When you are in that relaxed state, we know that you will be able to consciously see the path that Spirit is putting out for you. Now, there still may be a big part of your ego that you are deeply attached to that sees all the bad, but there will be endless amounts of bad that can be seen. There will always be at least one clear road of good that is also seen. And so the only choice you really have is to focus on the good. It is not to say the bad will not come up. You are all healing, and healing is becoming aware of the bad. And so part of that journey is being aware of the bad, but it is not fixating on it. And it is also fixating on the good. It is looking at, what is this bringing me? And so it is good to contemplate wellness and how health manifests itself in a body, and know that that information is for you specifically to apply to yourself. If you are in that awareness, that is the truth for you. And if someone else is not in that awareness, that is not the truth for them. And beings can only operate under the truths that they truly embody and understand. And so in that way, for a being who is diagnosed with a disease and passes away, they may not have had the choice of healing because it was not within their consciousness. You see, the consciousness must be raised to a certain degree that many beings who have been on the planet for over 40 years will have deep difficulty accessing, because they have lived life out in a certain path for so long that to go back and to unravel that would be extremely dense, would be extremely heavy, and would be in energies that aren't quite on the planet yet, that it would be needed to transcend those kinds of situations. And because that energy is not here yet, many beings are choosing from their superconscious, their soul level, to move forward and come back or act as guides to allow the beings who are still on earth, you, this being, all those around that are still living, guide them to raising their consciousness, which evidently, because you're all one, helps them to raise their consciousness. And so they help you raise your consciousness, and you create a better world. You create a more loving circumstance, so that when they come in the next time with the lessons and understandings that they have, when they come in, they are given a ripe environment to ascend. They are given the situations that they need to move through those lessons, learning them the hard way, living that out, and then coming in as a fresh being. They are going to have very strong intuitions about not doing the things they did in this lifetime. And in fact, the whole lifetime they're created around is going to be giving them a lot of symbols and ideas and synchronicities. They're going to be aware of energy, things that they have just not been aware of before this time. Many of you have noticed that there is a shift in the way things are since COVID, even since the early 2010s. And you are seeing that things are changing, and they are changing rapidly. And energy was not super available in the early 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, and the 60s. And so those on the planet who lived through those years, they are very hardened into the consciousness of how things are, how they have to be. And so there is this need for imaginatory beings. There's this need for you all to accept that you don't know, because the rigid conditioning has been so tough that the only antidote we can really see on this side is that beings have to be willing to relinquish everything they ever believed in and come to a place where they can accept that most of the ideas in their mind are conditioned because they are not of love, and that they have to make the choice to choose love again, to know they do not know and choose the loving interpretation. And that is the work, to find the loving interpretation, to really deeply embody that, not just say it in your mind, but still tell the negative story, or still have the anger or the accordion path that is longer. It is truly to think of a person, think of a situation, think of a story, and not feel compelled to say or do anything, because you just feel neutral and at peace with that situation. And that is how you know you have healed. And so for those who have had these hardened experiences of the denser energy, that is a very difficult thing to do. It requires usually extra help in the form of a near-death experience, a psychedelic experience, some sort of very deep experience where the energy is felt and seen, and it is in their faces. But not many people, not every person on this planet has put that sort of moment into place, because for some of you, these beings who are passing away, their job is to be facilitators to help you understand spirit better. In fact, you could look at them as coming into this entire life in service to you, and that even their passing has been in service to you. And so in that way, they are in service to themselves. Possibly there was a connection of karmic abilities in that life, and so you can really have great honor and great respect and great gratitude toward anybody who has come into your life, been close to you, and then also passed away, because they have brought into your life a very close translator that can help beings who have not been trained to see energy or trust their intuition, to start to help them to really feel spirit, to really feel into the decisions they are making. And feeling into your decisions is essential. It is becoming more and more essential with each day. The logical thinking mind is of the past, dear beings. It is not possible to prove anything anymore. The only truth is in what you feel, is in what you experience, and all other experiences are outside of your realm. It is when you pretend to know someone else's experience, that is when you make it real, that is when you judge yourself, and that is when that will appear in your life. It is when you decide to become neutral about this entire earth, about all the things here, that is when you will really facilitate a deep grounding, a deep centering, a deep ability to feel everything you need and to rise above the time and space matrix that is not real but keeps you going on the hamster wheel infinitely until you slow down enough to move up, to rise up, to take the steps that are within the energetic timelines, the ones outside of time and space, the raising steps. And that is all in the journey. That is all in the time that you are in now. But it is our main objective to show you, to tell you about how time works and how decisions are made and what decisions are really truly relevant and which decisions are just those that are repetitive and will continue on for as long as you continue to make them. When you make this world real by believing in it, by defending it, by associating any low frequency feeling to it, that is when you anchor yourself. Peace de-anchors you from this world. And it is not a world of true meaning. It does not mean anything. And so if you can embody that understanding, then choosing the feeling self will be easy, because you will not be afraid of hurting another being, of offending someone. You will not be concerned about why they're doing what they're doing or staying on the planet or passing away. No, because you will feel the reason that those things are happening. And from that feeling place, you will know what is next. And those feelings raise you up in the energetic timeline. They take you out of the normal time and space matrix. And the more you rise, the better this planet becomes, because your perception changes, because you recognize the true problem here, which is the way you see the world. That is the problem. The way you see the death, the way you see the illness, the way you see yourself as not valuable, as not worthy of being able to listen to the internal guidance. And that is where the real problem lies. And so we honor and love this question because it is of the highest relevance. There are many paradoxes on this planet because this planet is not real, because it exists in a duality, and duality will always have paradoxes, but the truth is whole. The truth is complete. The truth is one. And so we use questions like this to help to introduce you to the truth and also give you an explanation that can help your mind from the current consciousness begin to integrate that. We know that oneness trickles in, and it for a while must meet the ideas where they are to heal them, and then eventually your consciousness gets to a tipping point where it just realizes, oh, I can apply this pattern to everything. I can realize how this aspect of my mind, as represented by society or family members, functions, and I can see the pattern in it all. And now that I see the pattern and I realize I don't want those lowered emotions, I don't want to be right, I don't want those feelings, now I can make the decision again, I can choose again. And that is the power you have in this planet, dear beings, to choose again, to allow life to bring you what it will. The sadness, the upset, the depression, the anxiety, all these things, the nervousness, the not feeling good enough, allow that to come and look at it, and then ask for the feeling that will guide you into the healing. Feeling into the healing. That is what we say, and how we will end this question, response, answer today. We love you all so much. We encourage you to feel into the healing that you are doing at this time. This is a very healing time. Anytime you have to feel, to be alone, to be with people who allow you to feel, to be yourself, to not have defenses up, this is critical, because you, as babies of yourself, as just tiny seeds of the magnitude of love you are going to hold as you make these decisions, seeds, babies, they need gentle time and space. They need to be allowed to feel into their body. They need to be allowed to come into this newness, this learning, just as you learned words and learned concepts. You need to be able to learn what spirituality looks like embodied, how beings on the other side communicate with you, how energies serve your life. It is like seeing the world all over again, all new, all from a different perspective. We are the Arcturian Council. We love you oh so very much. There is nothing you can do. There is no circumstance that we will not be present for your highest good. And you can just smile through life knowing that whatever is happening is exactly what you need, is the exact medicine, because you prescribed it from your superconscious self. And so it is inspired whether you feel it or not. And you can be at peace with that. We are the Arcturian Council, and we will speak to you again at another time. Okay, so that was the guides answering that question. And now I'm super tired and I'm going to go to bed, but I love you guys so much. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments. If there's anything else they can expand on in that topic. I know they kind of covered a lot. It was a very basic question that I had like a 4-word answer for when I was just hearing it in the shower. I'm always channeling in the shower. I'm sitting here with my sweatshirt on and a towel on the bottom because I just come out of the shower always with good ideas. So I just, anyway. So it's just so wild how they give me a small answer in the shower, but then when I actually sit down to channel, they go so much deeper and so much more into the quantum realm. And that's what they're really trying to describe with the energetic time, the quantum decisions, that those decisions matter. They have a lot more levity on our ascension process than the decisions that are made in time and space, because they're just branches. The only decision really is peace. And so everything else is just a branch. Anger accordions timelines out. Calmness collapses them in. And you can just use anger to represent, anything. Fear, jealousy, upset. But I like the anger accordions. They like to use alliterations in their processing and rhyming. So anyway, but thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you have any other questions or in general or about this video. I'd love to answer your questions. It is a challenge I feel very much ready to take on. So love you. Have a great day. Bye.